guys, and welcome to another Genshin video! As of recording, the 2.1 trailer came out yesterday. We got some pretty significant pieces of lore and plot points for the newest Archon quest, so today I want to go over them and what I think they mean. The first thing that stood out to me was the significance of Kokomi in the story of Watatsumi Island. The story is actually in Genshin already, but a lot of people probably missed it because it was part of a long block of text that I assume most people didn't read. And that's okay, not everyone's as deeply invested in Genshin lore as I am, so lucky for you guys, I'll read it for you and I'll quickly summarize. Watatsumi Island is the primary home of the resistance against the Raiden Shogun. On the surface, the resistance seems mostly against the Vision Hunt Decree, and while that's absolutely part of it, that's not the entire story. A long time ago, Baal killed Orobashi, which is the big serpent that takes up most of the landscape of Yashiori Island. The Sangonomiya clan, the people who worshipped Orobashi, were obviously upset by this, and their long-lasting hatred for the Raiden Shogun began. Kokomi is a member of the Sangonomiya clan and leader of the resistance against Baal. She obviously knows what happened between Baal, Orobashi, and her ancestors, but it seems like not everyone in the resistance cares about that. For example, it feels like the only thing Goro cares about is challenging the Vision Hunt Decree, and Kazuha's entire story is based around hating the Vision Hunt Decree, and he used to be part of the decree until he left Inazuma. I think Kokomi might not be as pure-hearted as we think right now. Obviously, she cares about her friends in the Resistance, but I think she might be using their determination and will for her own benefit outside of fighting the Vision Hunt Decree. I don't think she cares that much about the Vision Hunt Decree. I think she just wants revenge on Baal, and if gathering a resistance based around the Vision Hunt Decree will help her do that, then that's what she'll do. That's not to say Kokomi is necessarily a bad person, I just think she has ulterior motives for leading the Resistance, and she could potentially be using the Resistance for her own personal vendetta. The trailer started with Yae, beginning with her feels important after everything I've said about her so far. Her motives seem all over the place, even in her short lines in the trailer. At the beginning, it seems like she's waking up the traveler after they've fallen asleep or fainted. Near the end of her time in the trailer, she says, "Surely you don't think your ambition alone is enough to shake A's will." There's a lot to unpack in just that one line. So A is Baal's non-Archon name. A literally means eternal in Japanese. This is the first time we've heard anyone call her anything other than Raiden Shogun or Baal, and it's suspicious that we hear it from Yae. Yae is supposedly a friend of Baal, so it makes sense for her to know her name is A that way, but other people who are close to Baal don't call her A. At the end of Liyue's Archon quest, Zhongli calls her Baal, not A. If anyone would know what her real name is, it would be him. Yae knowing her real name just further solidifies my theory that they're the same person in my head. The other part of that line I want to talk about is when she said your ambition alone. It feels almost threatening. I keep saying it, but Yae's motives are very unclear. I honestly don't think she's on our side at all. If I'm right about her being part of Baal or a past Electro Archon, then she would have no reason to side with us. Yae said that line in a void-like area where we fought Baal for the first time. So far, the only people we've seen there are her and us, and now all of a sudden Yae's there too. There's not a doubt in my mind that Yae is more than just a shrine maiden. It's 100% clear that she's either a fragment of Baal's identity or a past Electro Archon. Speaking of fragments of Baal's identity, let's talk about Scaramouche. He's always been a super suspicious character ever since he showed up in the 1.1 event Unreconciled Stars. When Baal's character model got leaked, a lot of people were quick to point out the physical similarities between her and Scaramouche. I saw people say that their hair is the exact same color, possibly hinting at them being related. I don't think hair color alone is enough to come to the conclusion that Scaramouche is somehow related to Baal, but there's more solid evidence we can look at to get to that same conclusion. Scaramouche is obviously from Inazuma. When we initially met him in Unreconciled Stars, he introduced himself as a vagrant from Inazuma. While him being a vagrant was a lie, the part about him being from Inazuma seems real to me. He literally wears the symbol of Electro on his chest. There's no denying that he's originally from Inazuma despite being a Fatui Harbinger. But him being from Inazuma and having the same hair color as Baal still isn't enough to say they're related. In the personality section of his entry on the Genshin wiki, it reads, "Scaramouche is not well liked. Some say he has a disagreeable personality, being difficult to get along with, while others say he doesn't know when to keep his mouth shut. Even his fellow Harbingers appear to dislike him. Scaramouche likes to exert his authority over others. As a Harbinger, Scaramouche is a naturally cunning individual. With the brains and tremendous power to back him up, he's an unpredictable person. Scaramouche is two-faced, first debuting in a friendly manner with the Traveler in order to lower their guard so he could kill them. Baal is also not well liked. She also has power over others and likes to exert it. In demonology, Baal is literally a multiple-faced demon, and Scaramouche's personality is described as two-faced. In Commedia dell'arte, the genre of Italian theater that the Harbingers' names come from, Scaramouche is a character who appears with an assortment of villainous traits, mostly those that accentuate his self-obsessed behavior.
Are you deaf or just stupid? When did I give you the right to issue your own orders?
His name comes from the Italian word scaramuccia, which literally means little skirmisher. Skirmish means unpredicted fighting. All of that is very fitting for Genshin's Scaramouche's character, but how does it relate back to Baal? Scaramouche's personality feels similar to Baal's. Both of them have an inflated sense of their own capabilities, both are somewhat violent, and both are unpredictable. I feel like it's also worth mentioning that Yae is described as unpredictable. Scaramouche is clearly going to be very important in this next Archon quest. The part of the trailer that was all about Inazuma ended on a shot of him. I don't think that's a coincidence. Now that we've talked about everything we need to know about Scaramouche, we have to analyze it. Like I've been saying for the past month or so, it's next to impossible for Baal to be just one person. Let's assume I'm correct about the Raiden Shogun and Yae being two parts of Baal. That's fine, but in demonology, where Baal's name comes from, the demon has 3 heads. We still need a third person to complete the identity. In the last video I made, I briefly mentioned that it could be Sara, but I've never been convinced of that. Instead, I think we found the last part of Baal's identity. It's Scaramouche. The implications of Scaramouche being related to Baal are pretty much detrimental to a lot of things we thought we knew. Scaramouche is a Fatui Harbinger, someone who actively works against the Archons, but he would also be part of one. The Raiden Shogun, Yae, and Scaramouche must not be on good terms with each other given their separation into 3 different entities like we saw with AHSDBH. A being can split into more than one if multiple sides of it are conflicting. If Baal separated into 3 people because their identity was conflicting with itself, then Scaramouche is the part of Baal that knows what has to happen to the Archons to defeat Celestia. In my first theory video about Baal, or in this case the Raiden Shogun, I guessed that the Vision Hunt decree began because she wants to protect her people from Celestia. But she would only be protecting humans from Celestia. The Archons are just as endangered by Celestia, maybe even more than humans are. Scaramouche is the side of Baal that recognizes that and wants to preserve the lives and safety of the Archons and people of Teyvat. I know that sounds out of character for Scaramouche, but remember why the Tsaritsa has the Harbingers taking Gnosis in the first place. She wants to challenge Celestia. An Archon's Gnosis is their connection to Celestia, and without it, Celestia has nothing to hold over their head. Despite being a part of Baal, Scaramouche split into who he is now and joined the Fatui because he believes in the Tsaritsa's mission against Celestia. And the Raiden Shogun is working against Celestia too, just differently. Maybe that's why Baal split into multiple people. I'm not sure what Yae's opinion on the matter would be, but given what we've seen from her so far, I think she'd be the part of Baal that's just indifferent. 2.1 comes out soon, so we're gonna be able to see if our theories were right or not. I'm fully convinced about Yae being part of Baal or a past Electro Archon, and about the Vision Hunt decree being a backwards way of protecting the people of Inazuma, but other than that, I'm not fully convinced of my own theories. But that's fine. If they're right, then that's awesome, and if they're not, that's cool too. I'm just having a good time analyzing this game. Genshin has a lot of really interesting characters and lore, and I really encourage all of you to check it out for yourselves. And before I end the video, let me know who you're pulling for in 2.1. I'm going for the Raiden Shogun, and it just seems fitting after all the videos I've made about her. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in 2.1!